Welcome back to the Dopest Show you won't get sick of. I'm Spencer. This is Sasha. I spent most of my 20s in federal prison, but I've been off heroin since April 9, 2010. Got a lot of stories about the stupid stuff I did to get put in prison. I've also got a lot of stories about the crazy stuff that happened while I was in prison. And God forbid you end up in prison, you want to make some of the same mistakes I made. So, 60 days in, the 7th season. You look this up. If you look up 7th season, guy gets in a fight with his roommate, or almost gets in a fight with his roommate. Man, that was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. This guy, former Latin King, he's got a roommate that's kind of dorky, kind of quirky. More than likely, I'd say it's his first time in being locked up. Doesn't know, like, the rules and how it goes about. So, this guy gave him a book to read, and he hollers at the guy, "Thank you." And he mentions to his cellie, the former Latin King, he's going to give him something. They got commissary that day. It's crazy because they're in quarantine and they're talking about being locked down. It's like being in the hole. That is nothing like being in the hole. That's a dang lie. Being in the hole, they get a phone call every day. They get out for an hour every day. They get a phone call every day. They get commissary. Shoot, I was in the hole. You don't get to leave ever. Your shower's in your room. You get a phone call once a month, and you better hope when they wheel that phone that's on wheels up to your door and hand it through the beanhole to you, that somebody picks up. If not, you got 30 minutes to get a hold of somebody. If not, better luck next month. They're getting a phone call every day. That's not being locked down in solitary. I mean, it's confined, but it's 2 weeks, and you know it's 2 weeks. But anyway, so he tells his cellie that he's going to give this guy a food item. They just got commissary. For his gratitude for this guy giving him a book to read. He said, "That was so nice of him. I'm going to give him something." He says, "You're going to do what?" "So I'm going to give him like a bag of chips or something." He says, "Don't do that. Don't do that." He's like, "What are you talking about, man?" He says, "Don't do that." He says, "Oh, man, I'm going to give it to him." And he ultimately tells him, "Calm down." He flips out because he says, "Calm down." He says, you don't tell me what to do. Don't do that, dog." He has no shirt on. He's sitting down on the bottom bunk. He stands up with his shirt off just to put his shirt back on so he could take it off again and be like, "Oh, I'm taking my shirt off. It's going down now." And starts punking this guy down. And the whole time the dude's like, "Dude, what's your problem?" "No, you don't tell me what to do. You don't tell me calm down. You ain't going to punk me. You want to fight? You don't know me. I'm built different. I'm built different." That's like the most annoying thing you can hear people say. The whole time the guy is like, "Dude, we've been like brothers here in the cell. Why are you getting all upset with me?" And he just goes on his little chest bucket rampage, and it ends up calming down. And the former Latin King dude, in his little personal private interview, he's like, "Yeah, I didn't have to beat him up because I saw his lip was trembling. I realized he didn't really want to fight." And I thought, man, he wasn't going to. If you'd hit him, he wouldn't have hit you back. And first off, you were wrong. You told him what to do. He said he's going to give somebody something for letting him read the book, and you told him, "Don't do that." You told him what to do. If he was a convict, he should have checked you for telling him what to do. So basically, all he was doing was telling you not to tell him what to do. So, I mean, basically, you told him what to do, and then he told you, "Don't tell me what to do," and you said, "Oh, don't tell me what to do." Like, he just turned it around in the stupidest sort of way. Bugged this guy down. He should have sat him down and said, "Listen, here's what's up. The reason I'm telling you not to give him an item is because people loan books out all the time. If you give him some commissary for doing something everybody does regularly without expecting something back, other people are going to think, what can I get out of you?" He should have sat him down and guided him, talked with him. It was obvious the guy had been in jail before. Instead, on national TV, forever, for the rest of forever, people are going to laugh at that guy and talk about him getting punked down and everything else. And he's going to be like, "Well, I flash back to my prison days." This is the same guy that give the "I have a headache" distress symbol to go talk to them because the 23-and-1 was so hard. Okay? It was stupid. He should have sat him down and talked with him. It was a moment for him to, like, look like he was hard or something. Taking his shirt off, or putting his shirt on just to take it back off. That was silly. There's another dude looks like Mekhi Phifer, like his hair. You know how Mekhi Phifer always had that one dread that went down the middle of his face in 8 Mile? That dude, he's been in like half a dozen prisons, did like a 10-year sentence in the past. He looks like he's going to be all right. He just, chilling, getting along with the celly. But there's somebody in the pod that just keeps yelling, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, keeping everybody awake all night. When they let him out for his 1 hour, he goes up to that guy's cell and he kicks the door, tells him, nah, get up. You're going to keep me up? I'm going to get you up. Get up. You're not going to do that to me. I had something similar happen whenever I was in solitary. Next door, cell next to me, there's a little Mexican fella, kicked the door all the time. I'd finally just fallen asleep one night and he kicks the toilet as hard as he can. It felt like an earthquake. And where our rooms, every 2 rooms share a vent system and plumbing system. It echoed through the vent. It made the toilet shake the entire room. Oh, I was mad. I waited to hear him settle down. When I knew he was asleep, I kicked the toilet so hard 10 times I thought my foot would break. He quit doing it after that. That's what some people, let them see what it feels like, they'll stop that. Now, the third woman, she done tapped out. Third woman came in there. If they mess with me, they're going to get an old school butt whooping. She's done the distress signal about 3 times. Now, they are making all kinds of noise in there. And they do offer trazodone, which is a non-narcotic medicine. And her reason for tapping out was she almost accepted the trazodone sleeping medicine. Her reason was, I almost took that medicine, and my sobriety is the most important thing to me. Man, that's like half-baked when he stood up and he told everybody he was addicted to marijuana. And the guy stood up and said, I was sucking for coke, and you're addicted to marijuana? That's what I was thinking there, because trazodone isn't a narcotic. You're not going to relapse on trazodone. That's the most laughable thing ever. They give trazodone in rehabs, and they give trazodone to send you home with from rehabs, and they don't even give you caffeine in rehabs. They say that's a drug. So if they approve trazodone, I'm pretty sure it's okay. But anyway, it's an interesting season because everybody knew they was going to have to do 2 weeks of 23-1 lockdown, and it's not even like solitary. That's what kills me. I spent 87 days in a room that had a shower in it, and you don't leave. You don't get commissary. Nah, once you're punished, you don't get commissary. You get starved. So these people getting to eat all the commissary they want, getting to make a phone call every day. Imagine sitting in a room, starving, getting 3 meals that are undersized trays. Yeah, they give you unintentional undersized trays in the hole and feed you at crazy times. First meal is usually 4 to 5 a.m. Second meal is usually 10 a.m. And dinner, 3:30 to 4 p.m. And you don't get nothing in between that. And you can't get commissary because it's punishment. And it's not an open pod either. It's a hallway. It's a hallway full of cells. And it's that's solitary. What they're doing, that ain't solitary. But anyway, I saw that woman, talking about her sobriety with trazodone. It made me think about, Narcotics Anonymous meetings. Some Narcotics Anonymous meetings are great. I think Alcoholics Anonymous is better if you're trying to get clean. It's usually a more serious bunch of people. I've seen more drug dealing at NA than I have. I don't even know if I've ever seen it at AA, but at Narcotics Anonymous, oh man. I used to go to Baltimore and I'd meet my dude there, pick up a good bit of dope at an NA meeting. That was our place. A lot of people go because they want to, but a good number of people go because the courts make them. So you've got the people that don't want to be there. And in big cities, dealers are known to stay outside the Narcotics Anonymous meetings. So, that's one thing. But another thing, with her thinking she's going to relapse if she takes trazodone, I've seen gossip circles in Narcotics Anonymous. Don't see it in Alcoholics Anonymous, but Narcotics Anonymous, I've seen it a lot. Little gossip circles talk about each other, and say somebody's on methadone maintenance or Suboxone. Gossip circles relentlessly talk about them, and they'll even tell them to their face they're not clean. I think that's the stupidest thing on the planet. This day and age is not... Back whenever I was selling dope, the only type of fentanyl you saw, people called a morphine patch. It was a fentanyl patch from a pharmacy. You didn't see it. It wasn't a thing. It was not a thing. Now, it's in everything. Every week you hear somebody different is passing away. I've said 44 friends I've had under the age of 35 have died of drugs or drug-related violence, and these are people I could tell you their middle name and stuff that happened to them growing up. These aren't acquaintances. Another 3 or 4 have died since the last 44th, but those were not people I personally knew. Those were like brothers or sisters of some of my sister's friends, and but I don't count them on that 44. The 44 I'm talking about were people who I could tell you a lot about them all growing up. That's a lot of people. Okay? There are things that can help people. Addiction is a disease, and if you put it on hold, put it in remission with methadone or Suboxone, you're not risking dying. And that's incredible in a day when everybody's passing away from it. So when people judge, those people, and they're going to the meetings trying to work the program, and people tell them, well, you're not really clean. That's no good. I mean, it's no good to judge people like that. I've sent a tremendous amount of people to 3 different small Suboxone doctors that I know locally, and about half of them get on, and they do good, but half of them don't. I mean, it's what's going to happen. The most recent one, young kid, he's back in jail, and it really, really sucks because, it sucks. And one of his friends had passed, and after his friend passed, he went to the funeral, and that's what led him back down the wrong way. As an addict, I remember we get the F everything, and we'll use any excuse when we're in active addiction to use. Looks like it's cloudy, it might rain. Better get high, it'll make me feel better. And somebody's friend dying, that's a pretty big trigger. But, it's one of the things you gotta get past. But see, when people are on Suboxone and methadone and they're taking it correctly, there are people who don't, that's gonna happen. But the people that do, it takes that little devil off their shoulder to where they can just function, and they can not worry about scoring dope. They don't have to worry about middleman. They don't have to associate with any of the people. They can get a job, carry on, do everything that they need to do to stabilize. And they need to stay on it as long as they need to before they come off. And there's that stigma. I just remember in NA hearing so many people talk about other people about that just like terribly. Like they were just the worst, shittiest people on the planet because they went to the clinic. And that's wrong, especially when it could be something that is saving their life. It is something that's saving their life because it's too dangerous today to just be out there chancing it day by day because fentanyl's too powerful. It can't be dosed by people accurately. It's not controlled. It's not safe. So I think those people that are in addiction need to look into, one of those 2 options. And people that are on it need to stay on it as long as they need to before they are ready. And when you come off of it, do it knowingly that you need to tell your doctor if it's not time yet. Also, look into other minor medications that can help with mental health. A lot of addicts get addicted because they have mental health issues. They felt uncomfortable in their own skin their entire life. And when they try a drug, it makes them feel normal for the first time. So they keep going back to it because why wouldn't they? They felt uncomfortable their whole life. This is the one thing that's ever made them feel normal. There's something else that can make people feel normal that have those issues. And it's non-narcotic medications. There's a handful of non-narcotic medications that they can prescribe you that can help with anxiety, depression, bipolar, whatever it may be. I have terrible OCD. I count things, I tap things. You'll never know it because I hide it very, very well. But I do. And there's a couple medications that I take that are non-narcotic that help me feel normal. And I realized that was probably, the reason that, when I tried something, it stuck so hard to me to where I just wanted to do it more and more. Then I was addicted to dealing too. That's a whole other story, Don't watch movies or documentaries. I remember back when we were getting high when I was a kid, Intervention had just come out. We'd be doing lines, shooting up, and stuff like that, watching the Intervention. It's like we liked to watch people doing drugs while we were doing drugs, but we weren't paying attention to how bad it was wrecking them, how every story was tragic and terrible for the family. We just watching them getting high because they show that part vividly on Intervention. And I notice people that don't want to get clean or don't plan on staying clean, a lot of them like watching movies that have to do with drug using and drug dealing. I used to look. That was all I'd watch back when I was doing. I don't watch that at all anymore, at all, at all. I used to only listen to Gucci Man and OJ the Juice Man because that was like a soundtrack for what I was doing. I can't listen to that neither. Can't watch a movie blow. I'll have like a little delusion that I'm gonna go be George Young again. Go back, drive up north, bring something back, start selling it for about 10 seconds. It's been long enough now that that delusion won't last for more than 10 seconds, and I have my common sense back. That's another thing. It does get better with time. With time, the dreams stop, the cravings stop. Cravings end up turning into something different. A lot of the time, what you'll realize a craving actually was a little anxiety attack. Life got tough, okay? When you're an addict and life gets tough, you want to go use, because if you use, it'll make it get better instantly. There's an artificial way you can buy a feeling in a powder, but after so long being off of it, you recognize it for what it is. And when you recognize it for what it is, you know that it's okay. This is going to pass. I can get through this. I've gotten through it before. I'm going to get through it again. And you don't even think about going to use when you get that type of feeling. I don't recognize my cravings as, as cravings. I recognize them as like a little anxiety spell that's going to pass. It's going to pass. It's going to be all right. And I see it for what it is, but that takes time. It takes a little bit of time for that to happen. It ain't going to happen overnight. So anyway, hopefully somebody who needs to hear this hears this. People that still using, thought about going to a clinic, maybe think about going. And those who are at it, if anybody's pressuring you to get off before you're ready, tell them screw you. People are addicted to everything. There are people that are addicted to caffeine, nicotine, alcohol, and the same. You see alcoholics judging addicts. They're drinking one drink after another from the time they get off work to the time they pass out. But because it's legal, they think they're better than. Same thing. And there are people that take medicine for blood pressure, diabetes. I mean, addiction's a thing that you got to realize. If you don't get it under control, you're not going to make it. And if that's your medicine, let it be your medicine. Don't let anybody judge you. Do you until you are ready to taper off. And look into the medications, please, about non-narcotic anxiety, sleep, bipolar. They've got non-narcotic medicines that will help you, and that'll make that whole process of getting off it a whole lot easier. Anyway, if you like the video, press the like button. If not, that's 17 minutes and 44 seconds of your life in which you'll never get back. But I hope you did. Thanks for watching.